Well, I had no idea when I was first cast that this was going to be 2 films. So that piece of news came as a huge surprise and an incredible gift, really. I was kind of as nervous as I was excited when I heard that it was going to be made into 2 films, because I trust John Chu implicitly. I think he's the most incredibly thoughtful, empathetic, brilliant human being and director in the entire world. But I knew that it meant that he wanted to take the time to explore the things that happened really quickly in the second act of the stage show. There just simply isn't enough time to get to know these characters the way that I think the audience, the world deserves to. So I was really excited to hear that it was going to be made into 2. To be able to get to know Glinda in this way in the second film is really special, because I love her so much. I'm just really grateful that we got to see the things that I fell in love with while getting to know her, because we took the time in the second movie to get to see them. Her childhood was something that I referenced a lot in my homework while I was getting ready to even audition. I was trying to get to know her in that way, and I didn't know that they were going to do a flashback to her childhood. So when they added it, it was really emotional. I was watching little Scarlett Spears, who plays young Glinda, film that scene, and I was bawling behind the monitor because it just felt so honest and so beautiful. And yeah, getting to see where those wounds started in her childhood is just such a privilege, to humanize her, get to know her in that way.
So it wasn't there in the script when you first read it?
No, it wasn't there.
Wow.
This was apparently something that was in an early draft and then went away until after we had wrapped, and they added that in reshoots. And I had no idea it was coming. I shot both movies referencing Glinda's childhood in my head secretly, and I didn't know that was going to come into the picture later. When John told me that they were going to do that flashback, I cried to him on the phone, of course. He was very emotional. And I was just so grateful, because characters like Glinda, who seem very surface level, very performative, very desperate for external validation, it has to come from somewhere, an attachment wound or childhood trauma, someone who made them feel like they weren't enough. And getting to see that moment is really special, yeah.
It was all there with you the whole time.
Isn't that so weird? It's very exciting. The thing that I discovered is that her darkness and her light are both always present. As her comedy in the first movie, underneath all that fluff and that light is that melancholy insecurity that's kind of like behind it, So there's that dark and that light dance there. And then in the second movie, she's covering up for the darkness with her light, with that performative nature, with even in For Good, with her comedy, when she says, and I've had so many friends, she's using it to cover up a little bit still, and to let Elphaba know, like, even though we have to say this hard thing to each other, I want to put the smile on top of it to let you know before, we shut this door and totally break down, that I'm gonna be okay, So I really enjoyed digging into that balance between her light and her dark. Having to play a character with that duality was really a gift and a challenge, and I loved every moment of it, yeah. I remember one of those days where we had to bounce back and forth between movie 1 and movie 2 on the same day. We shot one of the moments in the attic for Defying Gravity before we go up the stairs. The scene where Elphaba and I hope you're happy now, that part, in the first half of the day. And then after lunch, we shot me walking up to the attic with the Grimmery at the end of movie 2. So that was the same day. You know what I mean? That's pretty crazy. I'm really a nerd, and I love my sticky tabs, in the script. I'm kind of a script nerd in that way, so I like to color code the kind of emotional subtext of what's happening for her in each scene. So I would put, like, if she was feeling insecure, like about her relationship or about her friendship or insecure in a different way. So like which wound is being tapped on in each one. I would put little color. No, you guys do the same thing. We know the homework. That's the best part. The homework is the best part. I wanted to make sure I had a really firm understanding of who she is inside, like map out all of her things and her traumas so that when we did have to do that bounce back and forth every day, all that work could just be secretly in there and thrown away, and then we could be present in the moment, and it could be just listening to Cynthia and responding and just allowing it to be honest. And also John Chu, the support, the brilliant John Chu. There was really no one like him. I mean, the most brilliant director in the entire world, but he just creates the safest, most intimate space. It allows me to feel really free and comfortable on these big days that feel like the biggest days of your life every single day on the set of Wicked. Every day was a big day, we would always say. And we would never have time to process the fact that yesterday was popular because tomorrow was what is this feeling? And then we never had time to process that we had shot a part of what is this feeling because the next day was Defying Gravity. So every day was a big day, but he made it feel like, even though the stakes were so high, and it was such a large production, and there were thousands of people giving their all to this because we all cared the same amount. It's Wicked. Nathan Crowley built these unbelievable sets that made you feel like you were in a theme park. He somehow made it feel like we were kids in a dorm room shooting a student film.
You got to originate a Stephen Schwartz song, this film, Girl in the Bubble. Like, what were those initial conversations like?
Well, I was so nervous when I heard that there was going to be an original song, a new original song, because I'm somewhat of a purist. I'm a fan. I'm like, oh my gosh. We have to find the balance between honoring what is sacred and also breathing our own life into this thing and making it honest in our own way and kind of throwing away certain things and expectations. But I was so nervous, of course, but very honored. Of course, it's a Stephen Schwartz original song, but I didn't know what it was going to be. I was like, God, is it going to be like Popular 2? Popular 1's fine, and we don't need another one of those. I saw the lyrics before I heard the song, and I was just so grateful because it's this beautiful narrative piece, and it's a sacred moment where she becomes brave, makes the decision to really become good after this lifetime of thinking that she's doing good but not really knowing what that word means, and read the definition of the word good and goodness constantly evolving in real time every time she's faced with a new truth, every time she learns something new about a situation that she never had to think about before because it didn't affect her, and she's kind of forced along the journey several different times to look outside herself for the first time, and you finally get to see her make the decision to make a change. I'm so glad we get to spend that moment with her, because in the stage show, you see the result of that decision being made, but getting to see the moment is so precious. She does a brave thing, and you get to see her breaking point. There's a lot of noise before that, and I think one of my favorite things about Elphaba and Glinda's journey in part 2 is that they're both experiencing extreme loneliness that presents itself in completely opposite ways. You know, Glinda's surrounded by people telling her how loved and how good she is and how important she is, and yet she's never been more alone. And so when she finally shuts those doors and has that moment of silence, and then the song starts, which was a change that John added much later. There was music there originally. That song, you kind of hear her guard drop. She's singing differently in that song. There are a few different vocal placements that I wanted to use for Thank Goodness and for Girl in the Bubble, because you're kind of dancing back and forth between her performative self and her internal dialogue. So for the stuff that is like outwardly performative, I wanted it to be very, oh, what a celebration we'll have today, like very bubbly and lively. And then and then, sorry, I didn't do it for that, but thank you. I was trying to say something, but I don't remember what I was saying. And then, when it's more insecure, it's, that's why I... Gosh, You should do this more often. No, I love you too. But no, when you really get to hear Glinda open up and thank goodness, it's when she's kind of in her head. It's when she's like kind of disassociated and she's not even really aware of the fact that she's performing anymore. She sounds different. And in Girl in the Bubble, you get those different colors as well. I feel like the vocal arc in that song alone kind of tells the story of what she's experiencing inside, which is cool and fun, and Stephen Schwartz is a genius, and I'm a lucky vessel for that song, and then all the Glindas out there will sing it, and hopefully that will happen, and that would be fun. In the middle of this huge spectacle that is Wicked, like do the most disarming things and have the most quiet, emotional, uncomfortable, long lingering shots and sequences, you know? And I think it kind of is what grounds all of the magic of it. Yes, there's beautiful flying monkeys and amazing CGI animals and huge yellow brick road and all of this beautiful music and choreography, but it's a story about human beings who are hurting, who are grieving, who are learning, who are loving, and those directorial choices and edit choices were really shocking and disarming and yeah, very special. You get to kind of sit in the discomfort of what's happening for these characters. We shot for good on a weather cover day because it was raining in Munchkinland. I think we were going to do a part of No One Mourns the Wicked that day, and it was raining, so we ended up coming inside to do For Good. That's what I love the most, is those nervous, spontaneous changes. It's so exciting and it's so beautiful. There's no time to get nervous because it's just time to do it. It's just time to jump in and do it. I think that was kind of in the halfway mark, I would say, that we did For Good. Halfway towards the end. We shot it a few times that week, and then we came back to it a few weeks later to do the shot, that 360, the one that circles around us in the end. But nerves are carbonating. It means you care. It's really good to be nervous. I'm nervous right now because I love and respect you guys, and I want to hear what you have to say. Like, I want to hear about your experiences. I'm like, what am I doing up here? I want to hang out and talk. But do you know what I mean, though? We care. It's such a gift to care and to get nervous and have that carbonate everything. It's just such a funny thing to hear, oh, it's raining, time for good, I guess? We'll knock that out today, why not? It was incredible to be able to have the space and also become so close with our crew that we shot with over the course of 160, I guess, days of these movies. Because every person was a part of it, you know? It wasn't just the three of us who were that close. It was Simon on the B camera who held my hand through the closet door while they were changing lenses, and Cynthia had wrapped for the day and we were still getting the melting part. And Simon just held my hand because I didn't necessarily want to leave the closet. Glinda never leaves the closet. But I wasn't ready to leave the closet. And so I wanted to kind of stay in it and keep myself there instead of leaving and coming back. And Simon just reached out, grabbed my hand, and held my hand while we waited in silence together. It's such an extraordinary thing to be able to have family in every which direction that we looked on this set. It was very special. The I love yous and the door thing kind of came from a rehearsal where that kind of just naturally happened. And it was the three of us, John, Cynthia, and me, in the dance studio upstairs at the Elstree Studios in London. We were just running it, and we couldn't collect ourselves after we had finished For Good. And, you know, she shoved me in the closet, and we were both sobbing, and John's sobbing. That was it. That was what happened. As soon as we shut the door, we weren't ready to finish the scene. And then and John was like, so lunch? Should we call him lunch? We did it that once in the studio, and then we did it on set. Me and Cynthia would say on set, whenever we finished one of the big days, which was every day, that we felt like husks we just felt like shells of ourselves. Like we would go home feeling completely wrung emotionally, whether it was from laughter or crying or whatever it was. And I think when I got to the very finish line, that I did feel like a husk, and I had a little a processing time, you know, because you spend so much time in someone else, in this person's skin, and in their clothes, and their voice, and their body, and their everything. We were there for a year and a half between the rehearsals and the filming. It's hard to kind of grieve that as soon as you wrap, especially when you're a musical theater person, you know? Are there any, hello? Can we raise our hands, please? You know that feeling when you wrap a show and you think the whole entire earth is going to collapse in on you, and you're going to miss everyone's. You know, it's kind of like that, but on just to the millionth degree. I felt like there was definitely a grieving process, and I felt a little cloud hovering for a while, but then it started to clear, and I'm so grateful for it, and I feel at peace with it. I feel at peace with Glinda. I feel so grateful, and now she's for the world. You know, that's what we do. Everyone in this room knows what it's like. We give ourselves 1,000% over to the things we care about, and hopefully people will then take it from us and, you know, enjoy it. Okay, yes. Some of my favorite shots that I wasn't there for, that I geek out about because I love John's mind so much. I love the point of view shot with Dorothy's feet kicking with where she's getting taken away. Oh, I love that. Oh, hilarious. And also just so brilliant and so fun. I also really loved and was very moved by the edit between Glinda's wedding walk down the aisle and Elphaba walking through the cages underneath. Yeah, I cried when I saw that because it was just so, what an amazing, oh my gosh, poetic representation of just the journeys that these girls are on before all hell breaks loose and the bubble has to pop. It's always exciting to watch it, to see the parts that you weren't there for, because I really admire everyone's work that worked on this movie.
And what a movie it is.
Thank you very much.